All right, good morning, good evening, good night. Welcome to the last NFT Live of the week. We're going to take you around the industry and back just around an hour. Yes, I said an hour. Don't talk me into 2 or anything like that. Having some awesome times here pre-record, or I guess our pre-live, that we're going to continue into the show. We actually had to cut the holes. Like we were just getting into it. So I said, no, we're going to do this live. So you're about to hear some heavyweight fights happening up here in the chat.
Dad made us stop fighting.
What's that?
I said Dad made us stop fighting.
Yeah, that's well. Sometimes I got to get in the middle of these conversations, man. But anyways, again, guys, NFT Live today. We will be going about an hour, sitting up here, not in the quad box, penta box, up here, I believe, with 5. I mean, it's not technically. I guess it's technically a pentagon, but doesn't have the size. Anyways, 5 folks up here on stage providing value to you. Hopefully, you find it to be valuable in your life. Thank you for joining us here early, Huda. Let's go around the box.
What's up? When we have the pentabox, we should do some satanic rituals up here too. Just a suggestion. Just a suggestion. No biggie. Yeah. What's good, man? Yeah, weird out there again. Every day I've said it's like fucking weird out there. Like can't figure out what's going on and where I should be looking. Same thing. Don't know what's going on. Don't know what to do. Noticed that over on the Crypto Slam Twitter that the fucking Inked account blocked us. I don't know why. Sometimes it's an accident, but I take shit personal. I'm like, what the fuck, guys? And I covered them this morning. Yeah, like I couldn't see their tweet, and I'm like, interesting. I wonder why. And then I look, and we're blocked.
Oh my god!
I don't know.
Oh my god!
Oh my god! Anyway.
DP, did you get blocked today by anybody?
Nah, man, I'm never blocked. I'm good. My face card is good everywhere I go, man. They know better.
Yes.
What's going on, bro?
You block me, you might as well run the fade when you see me.
How was your day?
It's been good, man. I got out of the house, ran a quick errand for Mon Dukes, and now I'm back doing a little bit of DJing. And I was actually live trading a shit coin just now. That's why I was looking so focused.
Which one? What's the cash tag? Give us.
Why
the
are you not dropping us the CA,
No, because it's actually going to shit right now.
Oh,
I got in and got out.
I'll save you. Oh, you already got out?
Yeah, I got in and got out. It was just that quick. But I'm probably about to get back in though, because it's looking like it's going back up. So I'm a swing trader. But it's well, I give y'all the ticker. I'm not gonna give it out on air. But other than that,
look, we haven't said
good,
the disclaimer yet, so that's fair.
True.
But once we say the disclaimer, there's no reason to withhold the shit
community.
coins.
Yes, exactly.
Well, shit. Do it now,
guys.
We'll see. Just drop it in the private chat. We'll see. We'll deem it like whether it's necessary to be thrown out to the community. But I'm sure everybody's clamoring right now for you to drop it. We've really.
This is really something giving in confidence. I probably said too much already.
Is it Nub? Is it Bloop?
But
oh shit! Here we go.
I got
name dropping.
That looks like a Solana address.
It is.
How can you tell?
Just the gibberish.
Yeah, my man speaks gibberish for sure.
All right, so this is not DP telling you now. And again, we are not financial advisors. We're about to do the don't speckle for you guys right now. But just before I say this, do your own research. Spider Cat, scat.
Into it.
You know, I had a feeling when I met you, DP, that you were into scat play. Yeah, that's not the kind of scat I'm talking about, Biggie.
I'm gonna let you get that one off, but just know I'm on your ass from here on out. You know you don't like when I roast you.
Oh shit!
All of that just sounded a different kind of way to me.
You got a chance to say I'm sorry.
I just like it when you get to the point and have a point. That's all. But okay. All right, let's heckin' go. Starting off spicy. This is not financial advice. Happy to be back. I too, like DP, was aping into shit coins.
Now listen, Sarah, you just heard it. So when I'm getting on them, don't start getting in your feelings. That was goofy. Don't start getting in your feelings. The man brought it on himself.
All right. I too was aping into shit coins this morning that were recommended in our private Discord by Choina. Bloop. It's some kind of whale on base. No, I think it's a new one. No, not Blue.
With a P?
Bloop. With a
Blue?
P.
Yeah. Is it like a little fat nose guy?
No.
Okay.
This is some kind of whale or shark that grows as the market. So anyway, I'm aping into shitcoins too today. We'll see what happens. Most of my bags are down today. Only Force is supposed to be minting, but apparently it's postponed because they're waiting to update the whitelist again. Seems like they double checked the whitelist and Magic Eden forgot some of the guaranteed whitelist. So that's, I think, part of what's causing a delay. But I'm anxious because I'm sitting here live, but also wanting to mint. So.
All right, Biggie Poppins. Also, please explain to the folks how Wallet Guard saved you this morning, because that is.
I was saved by Wallet
God
Guard.
damn.
Today is Wallet Guard Appreciation Day, folks. Yeah, and this is not the first time it saved my ass. So I'm taking the time to tell you all that you should have one of these protecting extension condoms for your crypto, doings, shall we say. How did this happen? How did I end up falling for this farce, you might ask? Well, one, pretty shitty sleep. This whole week I've been staying up late, real late, degenning, which, by the way, if you're degenning on L2s, you're behind, folks. There's L3s out there now. You should be degenning on those. We can talk about it in a little while. But having said that, yeah, I was doing the rounds. I like to go into my Discord while I'm having my coffee and just passively see what's going on while I listen to my man's Huda early morning report. And I stumble into Kryptonite. And they had this announcement, blah, blah, blah. I didn't think much of it. I clicked on the link and immediately, boom, Wallet Guard there to save me. And I was like, what's going on? I go back and it was very apparent. And then I confirmed it with other Discords. And yes, Kryptonite, exchange was hacked. Their Discord was hacked, and somebody was promoting a malicious link. But again, something that was being done so passively, by my end, just kind of like listening, to some updates, just kind of like looking at the socials, clicking here, clicking there, and that's what happens. So it's very important to have that. I can't tell you how many times it's made me stumble when I'm like rushing to a mint because it pops up. But I refuse to take it out for exactly these reasons, right? Thank you, Wallet Guard.
Biggie,
Yeah.
there's like an interesting point there. Like, okay, I'll speak for myself, but I know this happens to other people because it's what happened to you. You let your guard down, right? Okay, you assume you're going to get got chasing something, right? Like, oh, you're rushing to mint something. You're going to click a bad link because, you're not going to, be checking things thoroughly. But the other scenario like you had where you're not really paying attention, you're not actually going to mint something, you're just researching, you're clicking on stuff, you're browsing around. That's what got me too. And again, it's because you're not really considering that you can get got in those scenarios. You can get got not from mint, but just from connecting to a certain site, right? Be careful. You got to, again, consider when your guard is down. That's why you do need some of those products there that are the extra, safety net, because, man, it will get you when you're not even thinking about it, when you're not trying to mint something, a time when you didn't even think you could get got, and it will happen. So be very careful.
I've knocked on every wood in my house here. I have never been hacked, but I have been very, very close on more of a social engineering piece where they go into your Discord, they pretend to be somebody else. They use Ronan the Collector's exact lingo. Like the way Ronan talks, they had been in Discords and probably seen him the way he talked. I was this close to sending my man ETH for whatever dumbass reason. It's like late at night, all this stuff. Oh, you need help? I got you. And lo and behold, no message history with the person prior to that. I was like, yeah. Almost ready to do that.
And, for us content creators that have so much content out there, audio content with these deep fakes, the voice technology that's coming out, be very careful because I can see these motherfuckers using it in very creative ways to try to, like you said, like write a very convincing script. And if they can do it in your voice, even better. So, it's unfortunate that these are the times we're living in, but, you got to take the good with the bad. And that's the shitty part of it, right?
All right, the comment section is popping off early on a Friday, like it does. That's pretty much par for the course here. Felipe, Choin is saying OVOT. Christian Jensen, 4 Hour Friday is back. Felipe is also saying y'all about that donut token or nah. GM Kerry Ross. Choin is saying, so what's been happening the last 4 days? We'll get into it a little bit. Give me the loot, gang.
Good man.
Marty thought it was on base. Let's see. He's scatting while Gift talking about something completely different. Dude, you get me on the Oni whitelist. With a little bit less BAYC fund, we might have been able to get you on the Oni whitelist here. And Choi is also saying crypto condom, great way to explain them. All right, folks, we're just getting started. Gif, you want to hit him with the official speckle, or don't?
All right, y'all, listen up. This is the official handy dandy. The disclaimer, okay?
Y'all. He went back to Texas.
Howdy, y'all. All right, look, just remember when you're clicking around buttons and you're not paying attention like this guy, to wear a condom. And one of those condoms that you can wrap around your brain is this little saying that we have. It says, do not speckle, which of course translates in English to, this is not financial advice. Do your own research, and we're not financial advisors. Thank you.
I appreciate your services there, Gifted. All right, a bunch of different creators up here on stage, guys that are getting after it in the space. I want to hear from all of them. Really on the week, sitting here on a Friday, it's been a little bit choppy. We really don't have like major gainers across like the top major cap coins. You see Bitcoin's up 10, Ethereum's up 5. This is on the 7-day. BNB looks to be outperforming a little bit at 10, Doge at 44. So we do have some outperformers, but really Bitcoin, Ethereum, majors all kind of went sideways now that we're sitting here at the end of the week. Where that goes from here, I have no idea. 50-50. We got to get that like clipped out or something so we can use that.
50-50.
Basically, again, a week of chop. I don't necessarily hate it. I really don't. Like, there wasn't much to kind of go on. We had some things here and there. SBF getting sentenced to 25 years was a big story yesterday. But Huda at the end of last week was basically like, dude, I don't have much to talk about. We were sitting here on a Friday episode, and it really felt like throughout the week, it wasn't that crazy. It wasn't really hot and heavy. We did see a little bit of the blast momentum start to pick up post that exploit. A lot of blast tokens doing well here in the last 4 days. But guys, now that we're sitting here on Friday, give me your take here on the recap of the week, or kind of what you're looking at headed into the weekend.
I'm really intrigued. Before we touch on anything, why do you have BNB starred and not like Solana?
Yeah, I haven't.
Like, is this from like 2021?
It's because you know what it's a really great point. Thank you for calling me out. I had BNB from all the way back in the day. I had no idea about, and so I do actually own BNB.
Now you're interested.
Chain.
Now you're.
I want to track it. It's part of my portfolio.
Yeah.
It's part of my portfolio. Come on now, let's go.
Right on.
So that's why I have it starred. But great point.
Yeah, I was like, and no Solana and no other things. I was like, okay, fine, BNB. I guess I need to ask about that.
Yeah.
I think like the thing that's got me very intrigued, and I've slowly been saying this because I know I was very suspicious of it initially, the whole Farcaster thing. But as I've continued exploring such realms, I'm more and more intrigued. And recently, the reason being is for the new Degen L3. I don't know if you guys heard of this. So, Degen, the token that was airdropped to people that play around in Farcaster, and it's on base and it's doing fantastic. Well, somebody thought that they would do, and they did, using I believe Arbitrum and like a modular data availability stack, created a Degen chain, which would technically make it an L3. And you can actually bridge Degen over to the Degen chain, and there's fucking tokens there. And why would you do that? Well, tickle my fancy for starters. But if you, I don't know, like I've already definitely, I am drinking the Kool-Aid of the Degen token as something more than just a shitcoin, right? And then you have somebody building an L3 on it and already launching tokens. I'm like very intrigued. So of course, last night, that's what I did before I went to bed. We'll see how that plays out, but interesting stuff that something can go from, I don't know, would you call it a community experiment or so, and then being embraced and like implemented in like all these novel ways, and now people are actually building out a protocol for it.
Biggie, is this the token before I get caught up. It is on base. So,
yeah, so it's the
Okay.
degen base token, but then
Yeah.
there's a bridge that you can use to bridge that degen token into its own native degen L3, which uses degen as a currency. And I forget the name of the token. I'll get you the links. But again, it's very novel stuff. I'm not, again, DY or NFA, even though we said it in the beginning, but intriguing. And so that in the name of experimentation, I bridged over something that I'm completely fine losing, bought a token, checking it out, tracking it. But if you like to tinker, if you like to stay in the forefront of people that are actually like embracing these tools and pushing them to their limit and trying to do, I think this is what that is to me, right? Like it's like somebody saying like, oh man, I'm gonna grab a little bit of Arbitrum stack over here, data availability over here, bada bim, bada boom, I got an L3. And what are we gonna do and build on top of it? Who knows? Maybe it dies off. But I really dig people that show you at least glimpses of the things that you can do, right? Like we call them Legos for a reason, folks. And so this is somebody doing some cool Lego stuff over on Degen and Farcaster, and I applaud them, and so I had to shout them out.
Yeah, Easy with some good comments here. Community Coin actually working in practice there. Schiller, good to see you, sir. Also, Easy saying, hit me up to find out about a security focused DAO I'm helping to start up. Here's the post as well from at least Stack announcing their support of the Degen token. On Monday, we released token rewards, a way to award tokens directly to users based on their on-chain points balances on Stack. Today, we just awarded 1 million Degen to the top 100 holders. So folks are winning over here on the Far. I believe this is associated with Farcaster again, correct?
Yeah.
When Dracula, yeah, that whole protocol, I guess,
God
is
damn it,
used for
Biggie.
different things. Dude, no, Degen is a winner, and I fucked up because I kind of like I flipped out of it early, and it's just continued to run. But it's clear that this one is more than just a meme coin. This has a bunch of builders fucking with it and integrating it into different projects, and so yeah, man, it's like on the base front, you've now got a few that are sort of standout, tokens. Toshi, Brett, Degen seem to be sort of leading the pack. Maybe like I don't know where Base God's at, but there's a couple others like Mochi, is doing really well. But and then there's all the others. But it seems like Brett, Degen, and maybe Normie. Normie's kind of up there too. Brett, Degen, Normie, Toshi seem to be sort of like really taking off and leading the base tokens.
Huda, DP, you guys have any takes here? Also, I don't know if you guys are on Farcaster yet. I've faded it for the most part, kind of stayed away from it. Social apps just don't interest me at this point.
I've actually been on Farcaster. Farcaster, I guess they're providing some value because it's some exclusive shit that they're launching over there sometimes. So I go there periodically just to see what's happening.
Yeah, I'm not spending nearly enough time over there. Still feels kind of early and slow, but that's when you get the opportunities. I do have a quick update on Oniforce, and that is that.
What? Hold on.
Well,
wait a minute.
Well, no, I just want to say it
I'm sorry. Nah, go ahead. Finish. Nah, you missed something.
You missed it, Gif, in the chat. It's all good. What's up? What's with Oniforce?
Nah, my bad, Gif. Biggie just violated, but go ahead.
That was a pretty big violation. What's up with Oni? Are you shook right now?
I'm lost. Yeah,
it's in the private chat. We just had something in the private chat. Are you not able to see it?
I can't look at it right now.
Yeah. I was not expecting that. I'm sorry. It's just I promise I didn't mean to interrupt.
I knew that would happen.
It's just the snap, the response.
I'm kind of shook right now. I don't know where to go with it. Gift Dead, what's up, dude? What's the?
I feel like I'm out of what's going on. So y'all.
I want you to finish, but I'm gonna tell you when soon as you finish. Because I really didn't mean to interrupt. I legitimately didn't mean to interrupt you. I swear.
Can you put them both on the screen? Just those two right now.
All right, so give just to provide some context so you won't be looking confused. I put in the chat that Ghostface Killer is being interviewed on Spaces by Leonidas and Trevor BTC. And so Biggie responded with Ghostface who? The bottom of the barrel Wu-Tang.
I'm not taking it back either.
I've never heard anybody call Ghostface the bottom of the barrel.
So basically, we're up here talking about inside jokes on a live show that you.
Here we go. Sorry, Gil.
No. Are y'all like it? I mean,
I think it's less. It's more about like let's get to the Oni Force piece. I feel like that's throwing off the show more than anything. What's going on? I need to go to Oni Force and bring it up?
I mean, you can because it's now live, and so they basically had to push it an hour, so it starts now in about 17 minutes. So just for anybody that's interested, just beware that it is now started up. The countdown is on, and it looks like it's going live at 11 PST. So that's
do you know what phase starts?
I don't know. I want to talk about Wu-Tang. So if we can,
my man's derailing the show and then throwing it on y'all about derailing the show. All right, I'm gonna try to go in the Discord here and get the update here. All right, so the official piece here. This is from Bobby San. Final delay. The Fallen collection is truly incredible, and we just wanted to make sure everything came out perfect. We are pushing 1 more hour, but we will be expanding the mint window, so there's ample time to participate. Thank you for your patience as we prepare for the long-awaited Fallen. Expect a ping. We shall rise. Is this going to be an immediate reveal?
I think it does reveal today. I think they said it's like after the claim phase starts, which is the last phase, then they're going to flip a switch, they said. So I don't think it's like immediate right now, but I think later today. So pretty quick.
All right, a couple questions in the chat here. That also Felipe asking for the inside joke. I think we did a pretty good job laying that out.
I want to know
here.
too. I want to know too.
Apparently, my man is absolutely shook. This is like me asking Biggie the top 10 yesterday on Say What. Like he was just like my mind short circuited his brain, which is what's happening here with Gift Dead today. We have an Oni Force Fallen collection. Huda, I'm going to throw this over to you. You're I don't want to call it the Ordinals expert, but yeah, you kind of are.
You can call me
my
that.
opinion. Yeah,
I like
okay,
it. I'm not, but I like it.
I'll do it. All right, Huda, the Ordinals expert. Where do we think this comes out? You've been obviously tracking the Ordinals, community ecosystem, all that stuff. Where does this fall within this ecosystem currently?
So it's really interesting because before yesterday, I wasn't so sure. And I'll say the past few days when I started seeing the BRC20 starting to move again, like I definitely was feeling Ordinals bubbling up, but yeah, seeing what happened with Ink yesterday gives me, I don't know, a lot more confidence in what Oni Force can do here once that's minted, once it hits secondary. So prior, I thought we'd get up to maybe a 0.03 or so Bitcoin floor. Man, I may have to adjust that a bit higher. Smaller supply, much like a third of the supply of Ink, I believe. And man, with that baked in user base already, right, or collector base, Oni Force could be something pretty interesting here. So hard to make predictions still on such a new ecosystem, but I think they're going to be pretty okay here today. If you minted, you're winning. I mean, it's kind of that simple.
Any other thoughts, fellas?
Yeah, Ink is 10K, right?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, I mean, Onis are, like you said, a third of the supply and actually have an established like community and project and track record. So I don't know. It's this one, obviously, like Ink obviously has had a lot of the attention. A lot of people have been really hyped up about it. So I'm not surprised that it's done as well as it has. But that one will probably see a dump after reveal, right? Like usually these things ramp up pre-reveal, so just be careful. That's why I didn't end up buying in yesterday because I missed the mint.
That I was about to say that's fair because if you would have got it at mint, I think they 10x. They people made a pretty good bag off of them, but yeah, you did well by not going a secondary route because I agree with you. I do think they're probably gonna dump after art reveal, but I expect I would be surprised if Oni Force doesn't do well. Also, it doesn't follow the pattern.
You know what's interesting here? We get to see almost the like Bitcoin puppets and Quantum Cat scenario play out again, right? Like 10K collection versus 3K collection. You know, they're not exact 1-1s, but they, you know, like the Quantum Cats and Puppets, you know, they got a different kind of art. It's a different flavor. But there's something about them that's similar, you know, in that regard. And again, same thing here with.
Yeah, they're both lo-fi, high quality lo-fi art, as I call it.
Let's have that discussion really quick. I want to stay in it for like 1 minute, fellas. I don't want to go down a rabbit hole here. But most of Bitcoin Ordinals art is, when it comes to the PFP side, questionable. And I know we like to use this like it's questionable on purpose. Is Oni Force art from the PFP side the best PFP on Bitcoin Ordinals to date from like a quality perspective?
Gift should answer that. This is your jam here.
Well, the thing is, I like the PFPs that are like big projects that I know of are things like OMB, Puppets, Quantum Cats, Bitcoin Frogs, and there's like I'm trying to think of others. There's not that. The Pizza Ninjas is good quality. Definitely good quality PFP, but I don't think it's anywhere near as artistic as what Oni Force is doing. So if, you know, from what I'm aware of, and maybe I'm missing one or two, there just hasn't been a lot of super high quality art focused PFPs yet. I think Ink is in that realm, which is why Huda's drawing this parallel, is that you're going to sort of see these two that have a similar ish aesthetic or style, or more in that art focused PFP realm, kind of facing off here or competing for the attention over the next, you know, couple weeks maybe or something. You know, we'll see how long they hold that attention. But if I look at Ink and I look at Oni Force, I think Ink is great, but I think Oni Force is a little bit nicer, and that might be, you know, it gets a little bit subjective there. But when I look at like the amount of effort, work, traits, and everything that went into a collection that is much smaller, that means that the uniqueness is also way higher. So understand that unless Ink is like all one of ones, which is not, it's a 10K generative PFP. Unless Ink was all one of ones or had like 1,200 different traits, there's no way that the uniqueness in that collection can match what Oni Force is doing because of that massive supply difference. And so just even on that, not even looking at like the aesthetic, sort of specific aesthetic stylistic decisions, I think Oni Force is already a little bit a step above in the quality meter. But
wouldn't it be awesome if everybody cared about that in this space?
Yeah, no, exactly. A lot of people are going to love Ink just because they like that sort of monochromatic, you know, it's a much more minimal monochromatic style, which is really interesting in its own regard. And so some people are going to lean into that and like that more than what Oni Force is doing.
No, Node Monkeys is not good art, but go ahead.
Oh, Nodes is another example of a PFP, but yeah, like, again, not art focused, really.
Yeah, Nodes would look like shit if they were at a $5 floor, but go ahead.
It's gonna be.
I was gonna say just
Huda.
just for me, it's like I like the clean art, but I also like a little bit of imperfection to my art as well. I like the rugged look a little bit, right? And so I think that's what Bitcoin does well. Even though I fucking hate Quantum Cats and the way they look, I think Puppets look way better for whatever reason. I just can rock with that way more.
They make you smile, right? They treat
you. Like there's a certain charm.
They're all smiling,
but
dude.
Puppets, it's not even that. Smiling. It's just it's hard to explain, man. It's like they have a certain charm, but if you pull up like Quantum Cats, it's like, I guess so.
They're mysterious.
That's the last time I want to hear fudding Huda's bags.
But listen,
I don't mind it. I think they're all fair takes.
The crazy thing is, I don't like Quantum Cats, but I actually like the way Taproot Wizards look as well.
DP just redeemed himself in my book, so you know.
Never forget this. All right, the Bitcoin Ordinals expert up here, Huda, jump in, save your bags here.
I don't need to, because it's like it's a fair take. They look ridiculous, but like people, I don't know if they forget or they just don't want to mention it. These still have like 12 evolutions to go. You're right. Yeah, I mean these are not. I mean it's like you would shit on any PFP that only had like 1 or 2 layers, you know, out of its 10 or whatever. So yeah, I mean
it's fair.
You know, they look the way they look for now, and I I like it. It's definitely because I own it. I like it. It's definitely that scenario, but I know he's not going to look the same later. I kind of think they're going to look badass when all is said and done. So looking forward to that. And dude, I had forgot the link I dropped in our private chat. I completely forgot as I'm like thinking here, what are they doing? What are these guys working on? Mike, man, they're not doing nothing. I totally forgot these guys have raised almost $8 million. And that's not for nothing, right? Like nobody's giving you $8 million just for the hell of it. They're doing something. They're actually building. And this is why I say right now, I think the Quantum Cats price is super tempting. Like if I had it, I'd probably grab one because I think with them also having that small supply, that 3,000 supply, I just think those get, some violent price action at some point. I really see it.
All right, Dead Polaroid saying the Huda is the Ordinals expert. I minted a second ink in first come first serve.
Nice.
Marty saying no whitelist because I faded Yuga. That's real utility. Marty McFly's also saying nodes are dope art. No. All right, let's see. Easy and Crypto saying sent in for my brainworms. I'm getting trolled. Biggie Poppins. Why are you doing this, man? I get it's a TGIF, but why are you doing this to me?
Wow.
Because that is art, my friends. You want generational wealth.
Mm-hmm.
This is it.
Give me the elevator pitch. I got 10
Like
seconds. Pitch me on the genitals other than their balls.
The art speaks for itself.
DP's pissed.
Jeez Louise.
I'm getting there too.
That's crazy.
This man won't touch Bitcoin ordinals, but this is what he's into.
Look, here's
I have ordinals. I can show you my ordinals, Huda.
Here's the thing.
If you really want me to show you my ordinals, I will show you my ordinals.
Biggie's up
It
here
might look a little bit
standing
like this, but
on
Here's
the
the
daily
thing.
basis. Utilities, the main thing I'm looking for.
my dick pic that I minted because of Biggie is not aged well. So I'm gonna stay out of this one. But
Wow.
y'all do you, fam. Do you. Have a good time. Play with your balls, It's
yeah.
healthy.
What's going on here with the genitals? Is it running? It's on layer the degen layer 3,
That's
so it's one of these
something
like
I stumbled upon and thought I should share for the culture. I think it's like the evolution of crypto dick butts, from being hand drawn to like embraced by AI and like a Mr. Potato Head type of fucking sensibility. What have you? I think they're kind
That's
of
utility
hilarious.
for the balls. You want to be able to dress them up on a Friday, take them out,
that's your
change
first
their
X.
outfit.
That's your first X. That's it. All right. Real quick, I'm interested in this piece, Biggie Poppins. I'm not going to show the balls off again, but I am interested in this potential meta that you would see past Farcaster, right? Because I probably should be over there. But if there's a meta where tokens are being created on Farcaster, I mean, there might be a worthy narrative there to toss some money into. So where is this all happening on base? Like I could see these tokens on base scan. Like is Degenitals on something like Dex Screener, Dex Tools, all this stuff? I'm interested in this little meta because if you go a little bit farther, sometimes there are these opportunities.
Mm-hmm. I believe these are on base, right? Like,
Yeah.
Quote me if I'm wrong. Yeah, because like I kind of stumbled on these while I was doing the other Degen L3 thing and looking for tokens there. So these are, obviously it's for shits and giggles, right? I did not purchase one. They were sold out, and I haven't found a place where I could get them on secondary. And again, like I'm not gonna like chase them, but like I thought it was freaking hilarious. I'm not suggesting by any means that you guys should go and get some. Some stuff you buy for the lulz, for the culture, for whatever. Other stuff you want to be a little more serious about, like ordinals, in my opinion. But yeah, and like again, like not as much as they want to fucking label me as the fucking ordinals fudder. I am not, people. I do hold ordinals. I love seeing the experimentation and all the things that are happening over there. But I do have my reservations, and nobody really wants to hear them because they call it cope and fucking, hate and whatever the fuck, fudding. But I don't know. I think there's good arguments to and for them. I'm fine watching them play out for the time being. Other than art, I do like that is my one rule. Is like I will not fade the art. Like the PFPs and the communities, I'm like they're really cool. I'll watch them from a distance, like the song goes.
So just real quick, following up on this, Biggie, because again, I am pretty interested. Like, you don't know where to trade these DGen
not a
NFTs.
clue. It was just for the lulz, brother.
Alfalfa on that.
Yeah.
You just stuck with a pair of balls, huh?
Yeah, well, I mean, I don't know. You keep digging in there, and eventually you find gold. No pun intended, but you know how it is. Like, it's the
Gold inside the sack.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The sack full of gold.
Dig into Biggie's pants. You'll find something. Maybe some degenitals.
Are you trying?
Yeah.
Yep.
What are you typing?
I'm asking the community here. Where are you buying DGen NFTs? I need somebody to get down to the bottom of this. All right, Draco Velli saying, what art on Ordinals are you bullish on, Biggie?
I mean,
also, Draco saying Quantum Cat's art is meh, but utility and team elevates the prices. To be honest, it's not the best PFP.
I mean, gun to my head. You're like, you have to fucking buy Ordinals. What are you betting on? I think you can't go wrong with Ordinal Maxi Biz, with Taproot Wizards, Quantum Cats, and with fucking Node Monkeys. I would probably put the pups there as well. I mean, yeah, those are like the ones that come to mind. Ink and Ani Force is like, I want to see how that plays out. If gun to my head, those would be like the top 4 that I would tell. It would be like your BTC ETH play for somebody that's gonna go in a coma and go to sleep, right? Like that's the things that I would buy. Now, what am I into? What do I like buying? I mean, I obviously like the 3 main artists there, like Far and help me out here, Floriforms, Huda.
Oh yeah, hard.
I was gonna say
I do like the crossover as well. I like the Bitmons. Like I'm a big fan of Luke Crazy. I think you're gonna see a lot of great artists already, right? The Sense drop was somewhat like interesting. I don't know if it'll hold. But for the art, the Nadler drop was fucking phenomenal. I love his Memento Mori. And then I'm personally playing because I felt it was accessible. I'm a big fan of Solum, and he's got like his 12 weeks of glitch art on BTC. And so I actually went into that one, and I've been following along and playing around with that. It's really dope, really good art. Yeah, man. I mean, there's a lot of really cool stuff that I think, for example, the runes and the RSIC stuff that's going on there, very interesting. I want to see how that plays out. That kind of goes against my thesis there, where it's like only an L2 will do, but you never know, man. Like that's why you have these builders experimenting on all this stuff. It's just there's limited amount of bandwidth I have and time, and honestly, yeah, there's a couple of reasons there that I could tell you why I'm like still not convinced on Ordinals. I guess like the main thing for me right now is that who wants more BTC here? Who wants more Bitcoin? I do. I know a lot of people, and there's a lot of ways to get it, right? You can dollar cost average into it. You can go and trade shit coins or go to Solana and bring it back, or you can fucking trade Ordinals, which has been phenomenal place for a lot of people, right? But in the end, for me, it's Bitcoin. Like, and some art on Bitcoin that I might want to keep but for right now, for 'tis the season, I'm still buying into stuff, but believe me, I'm a seller. I'm taking profits. And then I'll look at communities and serve whatever survives afterwards when the blood comes in the next cycle. At the moment, I'm trying to resist not playing into this stuff. Like, I guess you could say I did make my play there over on Say, where I did get more involved in communities and like PFPs and other stuff like that. There's so many ways up the mountain, same goal, same mountain, different paths up there. Yeah.
Sorry, who got rogued? I bought more Floriforms.
Wow.
Very professional.
I've been stacking.
Go ahead.
I'm just saying I've been stacking Floriforms whenever they get as low as they've been, because I believe that Hardo will continue to build a reputation in that ecosystem, and that at some point people start to realize that those are a solid early generative art project on BTC.
Felipe said, I just Googled degenitals, but only got genitals. That was a predictable outcome.
Oh, speaking of, well, I'll let you finish.
No, real quick. I had, it's a Friday, so we're getting a little drama on the timeline here. Vitalik saying base is overtaking Ethereum. like Austin is taking over America. Jesse's responding. This is over there on Warpcast, so I guess I'm finally over there. But this is just fun and games here from Vitalik. But he's at least responding to something with base associated with it. So
will soon dwindle. Oh my God.
Yeah, your fortune was soon dwindle. So your fortune was soon dwindle, Piggy Poppins. All right.
This bullshit, dude. It's hilarious, man. But you do need to remember that sometimes in this space, you are dealing with a very particular breed of people. Most of them are underage, inexperienced, socially awkward, and they'll do anything for a like. And so just make sure like you're cognizant of that, because these arguments, this is not where I like to spend my conversation. It's more like the general side. That's the good laws.
Dude, it is. Yeah. It's like I sometimes get nervous doing certain things and interacting with certain people like in this space, and then I remember who they actually are. I'm like, why am I worried about any fucking buddy there?
Yeah.
Like
it's happened to me so many times, right? Where you're like, oh man, I'm talking to somebody that's as knowledgeable as I am. And like, they've been around, and like, not that I'm like, ooh, but like we're on this level, right? And then all of a sudden you're like, oh shit, no, it's very apparent that you're not. Very different. Yeah, it's something to keep in mind.
All right, a couple other quick updates that I want to hit into. Again, we're going to be tracking this Oni Force Fallen collection. You can see the schedule here. It's all going to be finished up today, unless they continue to push it back like they did an hour ago. This should all be finished. We'll see where it ends up on the secondary market here. Huda thinking changing his thought process here based on a couple other mints recently. So I guess we're going to see a pretty solid sale, hopefully.
Let me pose a question. If they don't perform as well as we think they should, if it were you and you saw the launch of Ink yesterday and how well it did, would you have pushed their date back because of their launch, or would you have gone through with the regular date?
Ride the lightning, I would say.
I feel like they've been dragging it on so long. In fact, I chatted with my brother this morning, and he was like frustrated. He's like, "When the fuck are we getting our Onis?" He's like, "It feels like weeks, and we never really got dates, and we already paid over a week ago for the pre-sale." He's like, "What's going on?" It was actually a little frustrating.
I get
they'd have to go.
I get the point DP's trying to raise though, because like especially over on Say, but this is across blockchains. Like timing's so important. So if there were a couple mints and it was clear that the mint meta was not there to support it, you'd definitely be in a weird situation. But I think they've already pressed the go button, like a couple weeks ago. It was gonna launch no matter what.
And I like what Draco's saying. Momentum is good. I think like imagine like if you're somebody and you missed one, well, here's another opportunity to play along the same vein, right? And like with again like pretty reputable art. So I don't know.
That's a good point, because that would have been my reasoning for minting one as well, because I was definitely like, well, shit, I played around on Ink yesterday. Let me mint one of these Oni Forces. So yeah,
I'm excited for man, especially like a bigger project. The chance you always get of hitting something very rare. Like a 1/1 in the collection, or again, just getting that one that can sometimes be life changing. It's just exciting every single time you get a chance at something like that in one of these big mints. So I'm looking forward to later today.
All right, I gotta be being trolled by Alex Messenger here. Is it true about the WIF ETF? There's no way Dog Pat is getting an ETF at this point, so I'm not even gonna indulge it here. But a lot of comments here on Cam, or I guess from Cam and Marty McFly, Draco. So you guys are getting after it here, saying Ink profits might even flow to Oni. So
that's really my thought. Again, with a 10K edition, I know some people got multiple. You flip one and you buy into Oni Force, but you've also again got their basic collectors who a lot of them didn't get a whitelist, and they want in. They want into the ecosystem. They're already they're already vested or invested in. So there's going to be some pressure in there.
I would love Gift's opinion on this topic.
Yeah, where did Gift go?
I think he might be minting. Is it?
Oh, okay.
Well, I don't know. It might be minting.
Did he get angry because we like didn't preach.
Did he get blipped out when my thing
He
happened?
got blipped
No,
out.
I'm,
Yep, that
I'm
was it.
busy
Oh,
minting.
that's what happened.
Yeah, I think that's what it is.
I'm minting, y'all.
You could be live.
Oh,
You
that's
could be live on screen.
Yeah, all right, sure.
he max minted something.
Can I bring up something totally random? A couple really random things. I don't know if we have other topics to get to, and I
We
should have
did
just dropped them in here.
Yeah, I mean, we did have the wormhole airdrop apparently, or claim that's happening. So that's going to be on the 3rd of April. If you've used wormhole, you likely will be receiving a little bit of a bag here. Could be another liquidity event for the entire ecosystem. A lot of people have touched this application, so there's an opportunity again, a claim on April 3rd. So we'll be looking out for that.
Put that date in my calendar.
Huda, what did you have, sir?
I dropped them in the private chat here. There's 3 separate things, nothing that require much time, but I'll see what you pull up first.
God damn it.
What?
Well, that was me.
Oh, that was you?
Oh,
Okay.
funny. I'm like,
Sorry.
okay.
I thought that.
Dropping
Here, let's
the
go to the next one. We'll
oh
go
my.
back to Boba Opa here in a second. I got Coco
Look at
Bear.
that.
What's up?
The largest sale ever on the Ronin marketplace.
Wow.
A 34 ETH equivalent sale over there on a VX Kong. A very rare, a legendary type of
Oh, it's
VX Kong.
badass.
1-1. Just to start, dude, those Ronin, those Axie whales they're different.
Yeah,
you
they
guys know
are.
that. They're
Yep.
different. They are very wealthy. They got a lot to throw around. They are super degens, like the degens of the degens. Yeah, expect to see a lot more of this. I'm so bullish on that ecosystem. This I thought was interesting, and I did mention it in my video this morning. A lot of people, I don't know if they're panicking about prices over on Ethereum, but this, stemmed, I believe, from Mutant Apes almost falling below 2 ETH, which is absolutely wild. And then there's this conversation about, blaming the whales for how they're trading and blaming Blur for incentivizing that type of trading. And I think all these thoughts are correct. And you can also argue the other side, which is I think the prices would have crashed a long time ago without that extra liquidity from these farmers. So again, I think there's good points, but my point or my takeaway from this whole thing is it felt very similar to the royalty debate and discussion from the past couple of years, where it's like, we're all talking about a problem. We're talking about a thing that exists and there's great points on all sides, but like none of it does anything to move anything forward. And to me, the bigger problem here is the supply on Ethereum. Like, man, we're seeing the prices we're seeing because there's too many NFTs. There's too many great collections that have 10K supplies. And like, what do you expect that is going to happen? So if you want to have these heated conversations, and I feel like it got heated in parts, it feels like, right? There's just some strong takes. Let's make that a little more productive and say, maybe encourage projects to mint smaller collections. And to me, that's the real takeaway, the real way that the space should move. 2K edition collections, 5K, something like that. 10K, man, that's really hard to do now.
Man, it's tough because there are arguments to be made on the we want a broad reach of our collection, right? Like if we mint 10,000, they're going to be cheaper, they're going to be more accessible, therefore we'll bring more people into the community. That is the other side of that token, but I totally get what you're saying right now, Huda, and it's just a complete lack of demand.
Right.
Is what seems to be the case.
But it's like, if you want the 10K out there to grow the community, I think that means you're still misunderstanding something about the space, how much people have to spend on it. I mean, with 10K, your prices are going to realistically look more like they did in the bear. If you want 10K true collectors, it just doesn't, something isn't fitting here. Something's not clicking. And to me, it's the supply thing. It just, again, at the prices people are used to seeing. To me, 10K works if the prices are much, much, much lower. And, that's what we're seeing happening.
Very interesting spot that Ethereum finds itself in right now on a lot of fronts. It's a tough conversation to have, but the farther we go down this road, the crazier the conversation becomes, because you get to a situation where you're like, Mutant Apes falling below 2 ETH. What the fuck? You know what I mean? When Mochaverse NFTs are consistently rising, and some of that is sentiment. I don't know what Mochaverse supply is at. I was just about to show they had something about the Mocha token. Yeah, again, they have a Mocha token coming. Like this is sentiment based as well. It's a big concoction. There's not one answer, but I generally agree with you, Huda. Like right now, don't do a 10K collection. It hurts everybody. It doesn't hurt just yourself and your community. It hurts the other people in the ecosystem when all this shit feels diluted.
Yeah.
So
By the way, a good buddy of mine bought a Bored Ape this morning. Had a good chat, right? It was like, how do you feel about this? Do you think it'd be smart to buy it now? And I'm like, I do. Even if these fall, and I could see these falling below 10 ETH, I could see them 7 or 8, which is crazy. I don't expect that to happen, but I won't be shocked. But I'm like, man, these Yuga guys get this space better than anyone. They've demonstrated it over years. They do. I'm not going to be shocked if they do another big token drop or something. Do something to drive value back to the holders. Like
another token drop?
Something. Absolutely something. They have a lot of money to work with. They could stand to inject like some juice into that ecosystem, and I don't see why they wouldn't. So I'm like, dude, I would, if I had it, I would buy into the Bored Ape community right now. Absolutely.
I would hope they understand that the best thing they have going for them right now, other than the hundreds of millions of dollars that they've raised and all this stuff, is that their community is kind of fanatical still. And so if you take care of those people will fucking be on and take care of you. You know what I mean? So Huda, I think I agree with you. I don't know what that looks like in practice because they have ApeCoin already out, Mutants, Kennels. Like, I don't know what it looks like in practice. Maybe it's a non-dilutionary thing. I think it has to be. I don't know. Go ahead, guys.
I was just going to ask, do you think it's another coin will work? I'm not really loving the other coin.
Yeah, me neither. I think
what are we talking about?
Like dropping another coin or another token. You know, I think I agree with you, D, there, right? Like it seems like the space at the moment right now is a little stumped on like what levers or buttons to push to continue generating revenue, and also to figure out like a sustainable like flywheel type of ecosystem that you can use, right? Like especially if you're doing like a token for your community, right? There's a couple of communities that I think are coming up with very interesting angles and opportunities towards that. I personally, I am a fan of like the Talons marketplace that like Moonbirds was developing and continues to do so, I imagine, under Yuga. But yeah, like that's one of the big issues I'm having right now with many projects, right? Like that you really look further down the line, and at some point you're going to run out of these things. Like there's only so many times you can mint additional secondary PFPs. There's only so many times you can launch a token, preferably once. And then what? Oh, okay, you're going to have a product or a project. You're going to sell merch. Is it going to be revenue generating? Are you going to do a movie or do the IP route? Like, it's fine. Like, I really do think there's something there that like certain projects are getting right. And I think we will see them by the end of the cycle, see which ones really got a solid footing at least and we'll have an inkling of like what those roadmaps look like. But yeah, that's a very fair point, man. Like, I don't think more token is the fucking answer.
I think it's time for them to hit the pavement, honestly, and go out and find some of these young, innovative startups that are doing something that's cool and bringing something new to the space that would kind of fit into their narrative and fit into what they do, and probably acquire the small company and use their solution to create some type of utility. I don't know what it is. I just know that there's people out there coming up with cool shit that they could probably use. And I think it's just time to hit the pavement, because if you're stumped and can't come up with new ideas, you got enough money to go and find people that have great ideas.
See, like them bringing OX Quid onto the team tells me they actually probably are doing that and just haven't revealed what it is they're working on. But they still have the rappers, and I forgot the name of them now, but I think they got something cool coming on that front. I would imagine they got a lot more coming. Like, I just think right now they're very, very quiet on what they're building and hoping, kind of expecting they're going to shock us a little bit whenever that does come.
There is this element that I didn't think BAYC would fall into this quickly, is that, and it's Give Me the Loot saying it, BAYC is a Jim Cramer buy. Like, somehow it feels like they got into this weird, like, old collection mentality, kind of boomer collection very quickly. That's how fast the space moves, to be fair. They have ApeCoin, they have Other Side, they have a lot of things going. Marty's saying, would you buy an ape today? I'd probably just go with like a risk reward, and looking at the values, I'd probably go with Lil Pudgies. Like, I just think sitting at an ETH And I think if I'm looking at Pudgy Penguins or BAYC, I'm looking at Pudgies right now. Like they just they have the clear sentiment. That's not saying that BAYC is going to do poorly by any means. I just think that risk reward feels better to me at 1 ETH.
I want to hear what GIF has to say. GIF has been making facial expressions. What you think, GIF?
Well, I'm trying to let y'all get through this part of the convo because y'all are talking about Luca, and I kind of wanted to pivot on something else that is happening with him that Biggie brought up. But,
what's up?
So I don't know if you wanted to like highlight this. So Biggie shared this thing called ZapTech on Blast last night, and Luke is one of the people that's like partnered on it. That's why it like came back to mind. I did end up buying one of these. So full transparency, I followed Biggie into this ridiculous experiment. I might have just, lost $1,000, but it could be interesting, right? And it does look like there's some legit builders behind this. I did at least the very bare minimum research, looking around the website and shit. And it at least looks like it's got some legit devs and builders, behind it. Whether or not, the ROI is going to be there, that's really the question. But because it's like one of these early legit projects on Blast, as that narrative's starting to pick up, that's, I guess, my thesis on why it might make sense.
Right? It's a launchpad play on Blast, right? And launchpad,
I think it's just zap.tech
platforms like during bull markets tend to do well. So that was like my thesis aping into that. Additionally to the fact that there's some serious people involved there, and the fact that you farm Blast up hopefully and you get this Zap token and what have you, gives you access to it. Yeah, and just because of the way the sentiment is over on Blast right now after what happened with Munchables hack, right? Like it was just
giving
like,
me a waifu meme right up the front. I'm buying. Go ahead, Biggie.
Yeah. Anyways, NFA DYOR folks, but yeah, like I think sometimes like you like with the brainworms, right? GIF, like certain things, it's like okay, certain keywords, metas, ecosystem, and people involved are enough to be like, okay, I'll take a swing at this. It's still a risk, but the reward can be great also. So for sure.
I need to make sure I'm saying this correctly. The plays where you're accessing other mints seem to always be the best place, whether that be, which is what Binance did in the last cycle or 2 cycles ago, which was essentially say, hey, own enough Binance coin and we'll get you access to all these ICOs or you get to just buy into them. Like I think the mint passes on, am I saying, Proof, right? Proof had that as well. Obviously BAYC ran up because you got to mint mutants and dogs and ape, all this stuff, man. Yeah, it just seems to be the play.
Yeah, access plays are usually pretty beneficial, especially when you have the right key opinion leaders and builders behind them. And so that was a take there. It's like not too sophisticated, folks.
English saying hot take, both Pudgies and BAYC are boomer NFTs, all legacy ETH NFTs.
I mean, but Pudgies is doing it better though.
Well, you can only be a blue chip if you're legacy, right? You got to have some time.
So technically that is what blue chip means, is that you've got a bunch of historical, like you've proven yourself over enough time that like people can depend on this being a high value, high quality project. And that's why, it's funny to me. And I get that everything's relative and we've already bastardized the term blue chip anyway. So have fun. Who fucking cares? But like, that's why I kind of laugh when a new project on Say gets launched and then the next day people are like, is this a blue chip? It's like, wow. Okay.
I don't see the negativity towards blue chip as much. All it means is like relative to the ecosystem it's on. Here's the top.
That's how it's used here. Projects. Yes, I get it. But what Biggie's saying is that like where blue chip is taken from, which is TradFi, part of how you actually define a blue chip is how long has it been at a certain level.
Gotcha.
Like that's in the definition of blue chip.
What's really going on here, though, just to make it really clear, guys on Bitcoin, fucking love them. They're ready. I mean, they're getting very vocal about declaring Ethereum NFTs are fucking done.
Who cares?
Yeah,
about
who gives a
them,
marketing
what
slogan.
they have to say about Ethereum.
Ethereum
Who cares
killer
what
is like a
Bitcoin
great
guys
slogan,
have to
right?
say
Like
about
we've seen this
Ethereum?
slogan before, Huda.
I have never.
Ethereum
Yeah,
killer.
Huda,
It's
Bitcoin,
done.
Bitcoiners have literally always considered Ethereum a shitcoin. Like that's literally always been their stance towards Ethereum. Everything else other than Bitcoin is a shitcoin. That's the platform of Bitcoin. So like
Even ordinals are shit coins to them. The majority. It's a small minority.
most Bitcoin people don't even like fucking ordinals. Great point.
Fair. Yeah, good point too. I just love that there is there's a war brewing. And again, like you guys are saying, it's always been there. But it's heating
It's
up.
only a war if
But
you
is it really heating up, or is it just that
What is-
ETH just hasn't had its day in the sun yet?
That who hasn't?
ETH.
Yeah, it's
ETH
that too.
NFTs.
I mean, it's definitely that, but there is something to be said about what is actually happening on Ethereum. There. I mean, clearly something is happening. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, this is like my question here is, and I guess it's a weird parallel because Bitcoin has always been larger than Ethereum and been the granddaddy. But really, what you have here is like you have the young kid in the Bitcoin ordinals marketplace that has already potentially overtaken some of the things that Ethereum has laid claim to for a while. And Huda, I mean, the point you're getting at is like the war is starting to be more even than it was in the past, more so than it ever was.
Well,
And it
there's
feels like it's
competition
continuing.
for the first time, right? Like
Yeah,
there's
exactly.
Actually,
Like-
ordinals
Like
now.
Ethereum making up some ground.
No, I mean,
misunderstand?
no. I mean, Bitcoin. Oh, yeah, I know it's
market
stuff.
share or
I'm
mind share.
I'm saying the
from
ordinals.
NFT space.
Yeah, the ordinals marketplace themselves has been the little fish, and if ETH has been going this way, Bitcoin ordinals obviously going the other, and so now they're at this kind of apex point where it's very competitive now. It's very competitive.
Go ahead.
Go
Deacon.
ahead, Gil. No, go ahead. You first.
Well, okay. So Cam Taylor saying the thing is long term, the maxis might be right, and here's why I push back on that. It's not that Bitcoin isn't going to become the monetary standard and maybe have ordinals and other things. It will, but it can't become the standard for compute. It can't be. It can't be that. So just understand, like blockchain has to do so much more than what Bitcoin is ever going to do. And I understand you can say stacks and this and that, but no, like Ethereum and Solana and some of these other chains are built from the ground up to be compute and application layers. So unless you're saying that like the need for a compute layer of ownership and decentralized application layers that are actually built for that, purpose built to deliver that we just don't need any of that. Like, I just don't see why you would say that every other coin other than Bitcoin is ultimately going to be a shit coin. But I don't follow that.
But isn't compute
Also,
potentially coming to Bitcoin? Isn't that the whole point of OpCat? Is to bring that?
Sure. But see, to me, this is like what we're trying to set up here is like some black and white either or fucking scenario, and that's just not the case. Nobody's gonna kill anybody. I'm sorry, it's just not. People are very adamant about the culture in which they were brought up on and sprung up out of. Right? Call us boomers, maxis, whatever the fuck it is. Like it just is. Nobody's gonna kill anybody. The only people that kill these things are themselves, like Wax, like fucking Tezos, right? Like these I think are like the top performers we're talking about. To think like there's a freaking war. The only war that's happening, it's an advertising war, in my opinion. That's all it is. You know, it's an advertising war. And sure, you can say that there's a culture war between there. That's fine too. I don't care for that, right? Like, but to say that it's either or the scenario there, it's not the case. I think like, yes, when it comes to compute, Huda, I'm looking forward to that, man. I want to see how that plays out, especially if it's like Bitcoin native, right? If not, I'm still very bullish on L2s also. But I don't think Bitcoin gets to turn around 15 years after being born and like all of a sudden be like, oh, OpCat. Okay, no, you know what? Like we're taking over compute and NFTs and everything. We want all of it. None of you motherfuckers. I'm sorry.
Well, and
it's 15 years later. There's different technologies out there, and what has me so convinced about it is things like Solana, or things like Say, where I have spoken with. I would say like, you know, I don't want to say they're like newer users, all of them, but a good chunk of them have come from other ecosystems, and you do see them just be like, man, this is just way too user friendly in comparison to some of these dinosaur chains that I don't see myself ever going back to that experience again. And to think that normies are going to come in and say, hey, no, you know what? I want that dino chain, that fucking like slow ass, check the mempool, fucking wait an hour for your transaction for the time being. I'm sorry. Like,
I don't know exactly if I'm.
There's going to be limitations.
Yeah.
Like certain applications for sure. Like, I don't know what that is. We're going to find out. But to say all of it, I'm sorry.
I don't know if. Hold on. I don't know if I quite follow. I mean, I guess I'm following it. I just don't agree with it. Of English kind of going down the route of saying that all of these chains will eventually be replaced. Like, okay, maybe down the line, right? Like, yeah, if you want to have like the 10-year, 15-year debate, all of that stuff. But in the short term, you see a lot of good performers come back. Now, there's some that don't. You're right. Like, there's always going to be ones that don't make it from cycle to cycle, either from like a literal the chain is still functioning or the sentiment, not being good. But I don't know if I go along with that line of thinking.
Right, and I think it's less about the shelf life. DP, go ahead. I'll come after.
Nah, I was just gonna say, to me, this whole discussion about ordinals kind of taking over the NFT space, especially from Ethereum, is weird because I feel like we partly told the truth, but we don't tell the truth about ordinals enough. And the truth is that ordinals are really, the hype is that you could buy into a ordinal and you can acquire more Bitcoin because the value rises. That's really what it's all about. Because truth be told, like the art ain't popping like that. It's not better than NFTs. The transaction rate ain't popping like that. The ease of use is not popping like that. And the community isn't really popping like that. Like the communities over in the ordinals community are not stronger than the communities across any of the other chains. They might be, at best, they might be just as close because you have like this subset of people that kind of like have a chip on their shoulders about us fading ordinals for so long. And now, what brings them together is like their hate for other chains. But other than that, they like, it's all about Bitcoin. People, at the end of the day, this whole ordinal space is about Bitcoin.
Huda? That was pretty strong. That was a pretty. Hold on. Let me get Huda's response here because that was pretty strong.
Yeah, that was solid. I mean, I don't really disagree. Other than I got to think because there's definitely more to it than just all about Bitcoin. It's a huge part of it.
And I'll add one more factor if you don't mind, because I know like it's one of these big things that people are like part of the thesis, right? Like, dude, these Bitcoin dudes are gonna come around. And they're going to love our ordinals and they're going to buy them from us. I think those dudes look at you guys and they're like, these are fucking ETH maxis. These are ETH whales. Like, why am I going to be exit liquidity for these motherfuckers? Like, they disdain your ordinals so much, Huda, that I don't think they're going to fucking line up to be your exit liquidity. Like, if they do, it's going to be other ETH people or other people from other places. I don't, like, maybe a small percentage of the like true Bitcoin maxis are gonna say, all right, I'm gonna get a quantum cat. What's a 2 or 3 Bitcoin fucking throw for me, right? Like I can see that. Yeah. But I think like it's not as big as I think it's still the same other people. It's more ETH people
I don't think it needs to be a big amount
than the Bitcoin maxis,
I agree. Yeah, and I don't think it needs to be, I don't think anybody thinks they're going to win over the masses, the Bitcoin, all of those Bitcoin whales. It doesn't have to be much. It'll be some, and it's a thing that will just go on forever too. Forever. You're only going to win people over. You're not going to really lose them. But kind of going back to that I guess narrative earlier of these blockchains coming and then going and then dying. I don't see it that way at all. I think what's happening is what we've always thought would happen. An infinite number of blockchains are coming. They just are. And when that happens, it waters down what happens on each of the others. It's how it works until you have until everybody in the world is in here. But that's not happening right now. The growth of blockchains, new blockchains, is outpacing the number of users coming into this space. And so it does take away from each and every blockchain. And Bitcoin is the one exception that I think doesn't suffer when new blockchains come about, per se. But it's so new; we're still feeling that out.
It's also going from a pace of 0 to what it is now. Whereas Ethereum from cycle to cycle is going from a pace of euphoria to wherever it is now. It literally could be based. Like it could be from last high to like in 21 to now. It could be the same. But that run up is what creates that euphoria. We saw it on Say. All of these NFTs were running. There's more TVL on Say now than there was a month ago, right? By double. Yet all of the NFT prices and everything else, everyone's like doom and gloom. It's because that run up from 0 or 1 million or whatever to 25 million was that euphoric moment. This one's extremely nuanced. We're kind of having a good. I mean, it's a great conversation. Don't get me wrong. It's tough to get your mind around it.
Yeah.
I also think it's a little bit clear, right? Like, because very much like if that thesis plays out, like you said, and it's just a gargantuan amount of chains launching all the time, and a lot of this stuff is open source, or just understand that it's going to be very easy to port over. It's sometimes all these like novel DeFi mechanisms that we have, these restaking protocols and stuff like that, they'll instantly be available in all of these other chains. So what is going to give you the edge over another chain? What is going to be the thing that makes one blockchain prefer for another? In my opinion, it's very clear and it's very simple. It's called culture. Fucking culture. And if you want to go more, it's community, right? And Bitcoin has it in a very particular slant. And I do appreciate that Ordinals has come around to try to, and I do think, Huda, that it will take market share, right? Or mind share. Like it will turn hearts and minds. It has mine. I'm not shitting on it, honestly. But I also think like something like, for example, Ethereum you're not going to fucking kill Ethereum. No. Ethereum was the birthplace of NFTs. Like the culture there is so strong, so innovative. Like the builders, the liquidity, they're all there. And they are the ones that came over to Ordinals. They are the ones that went to Solana and to fucking Base and to Say, and every chain that ever is birthed, the minute fucking NFTs are enabled, it's like the third or fourth collection that comes up. Punks on Avalanche, punks on fucking Solana. And they're all derivatives of, they use the same lingo, the same ethos, the same culture. It's such a thing that is called the lingua franca. It's EVMs.
Ooh,
right? I mean, it's so obvious to me that like culture is the thing that you want to be doubling in on. And that's why I think we're all here in NFT live, not crypto live.
Can I make one last analogy here? Like I'll make the analogy of England, right? Like at one point was the major player in the world, major exporter, all of this stuff. And as people leave, right, majorly America, but as people leave, they lost a lot of influence. And so, Biggie, to your point, like they are going to these other places, and I'm wondering if they'll come back in mass, because what you see, like I'll give you an example on Flow. Dapper Labs was created one of the most prominent collections. But those people aren't on ETH anymore, bro. There's something in that. They're building on Flow now, and they're not adding to Ethereum culture. They're adding to Flow culture. And here's my thing. Every other fucking chain is now like they have builders that are building their stuff over there, and that's not on ETH. Do they come back?
And let me just add in another little X factor here. And I don't know that I understand the tech fully, but something like Wormhole, something that lets you just bridge your assets across these different chains. And I don't know if it's a wrapper. I don't know how it works, but to me, everything is changing. I think fundamentally what things were a couple of years ago, it's never going to be that again. Your assets on any chain that you want to plug into this ecosystem, that ecosystem. To me, the only thing that will really separate the chains is who do they have that's exclusive to their chains that cannot be bridged over. And you know, like that's the way I see this space actually moving or evolving into, for good or bad. But yeah, dude, it's just very interesting. Things are changing.
I agree. Like, I mean, you can't, but it's that, like, you can't silo yourself out from the rest of this ecosystem, which is for the longest time what Bitcoin was doing, right? It's like, we are granddaddy chain. We don't need to do shit. We're slow and clunky by deliberately so. And anybody that even thinks about an L2 or NFTs is fucking, like should be put to death. Now, not so much. Now there's actually communication. Now there's like, culture going in and out, cross-pollination, like we like to say in this show. That's good, man. I appreciate that. That's I think that's necessary.
We're having like five
analogies of like nation states and stuff like that. You need that, right? Like I do think at some point you're gonna have blockchain sommeliers, Huda. Maybe you and I are one of them, and we'll do a show and we'll fucking pop open a bottle of fucking near wallet fucking 2023 and take a peek at a time capsule and the shit that was coming out from there during that time, right?
Yes, the say 2024 vintage. Yes. Well, smells good.
I want to wrap up this convo here. We'll stay in it for like 5 more minutes. Man, there's 2 separate things in that though, Biggie, is that yes, it's going to be great, but the 2 separate combos is like 1 as a bag holder and 2 not as a non-bag holder. For the non-bag holder, that's fucking great. What you just said though, what is the future if you hold all of these ETH NFT assets? That's where I think it gets convoluted. And to Huda's point, following up on it, is I think the one thing we can know for sure is that the conversation feels like it is getting to a point where things are changing. That's what it feels like. Like it's not like, oh, this is kind of something happening.
I think by the end of the cycle, we're going to have a very good notion, right, of like what is going to perdure beyond and through the next bear cycle, right? I think like we already have an idea, like things like punks, squiggles, right? I do think even stuff, and I do believe that like every chain has that, right? Like that adopted darling NFT that represents that nation state, if we will, right? Like I do think you will see that. Now, how low will the floor price go, baby? Well, that's up to you to explore, right, and decide, and to see whether not just whether the team is willing to continue to keep building and the community wants to keep jamming, right, and like vibing and going through shit together. I think going through shit as a community is very important. Like it's just like I think it's almost like a badge of honor. It's a thing that you need to go through and survive, whether you're punks or fucking apes or birds, whatever it is. But I don't think like there will be like an extinction after this fucking bull cycle, my friend. Once we enter the bear, I think we will really find out like, hey, this was worth holding, this was not. And there's many theses there, right? Art, fine art, top of the list for me. Then obviously certain PFP projects, right, and different chains, like depending on which ones. If you're passionate about them, again, I do think you need to be careful there. A lot of people are going to get wrecked.
All right, there's people that are going to go bag hold fucking whiff and bonk because that's part of their community, right? They do see it that way. Or Boom, for example. Interesting to see how Boom does, There's a Premier League battle happening in our comments. You guys got to take that elsewhere. That could get dangerous real quick. A lot of great comments.
Do it.
Draco has a great comment here too. This is and Huda's just getting after it here. ETH's saving grace will be the ETF and branded as the digital internet bond where people can earn 3 to 7%. That's a really positive. Yeah, that's a really good one. That is a really good one. That gets left out of the conversation. All right, I have 2 more comments that I want. As Huda has epilepsy here, something's happening. He's got one hand. He's having a stroke. He's giving us a sign.
Biggie's nipples.
I was about to say, I think he was playing with nipples.
All right, Cirrus is. These are just 2 funny ones to look at here. Cirrus is saying Frank promised us the gods would go lower last week, and now they're going vertical. This dude can't get anything right. I'm sick of it. Looks like one Ethereum collection doing extremely well here, up 25%. Also, Bitcoin frogs on the other hand. It looks like Charlie Racing Club. Bitcoin frogs. I don't know where the bounce happens. Ribbit. What a wrecked chart. And the frogs are plummeting. This is under Cake's collection, isn't it? Isn't Cake's collection 0.07 or 0.007?
I don't know what Cake's collection. It was sitting around 0.05 or something this week.
But you're right.
I think maybe. So it would be interesting to see who's selling. Is this an organic sell-off, or is this like the team and the insiders all deciding it's time to dump? Because this was one of those early projects, and I don't know what the distribution looked like, but I wouldn't be surprised if there wasn't a few whales that were like kind of early insiders that held a bunch of these, and they might have all just decided like, all right, this is
24 hours.
That's that's what I'm saying. Like, it would be interesting to know, is that organic or is there something else happening? I don't know. I'm just asking the question. But that's a pretty serious sell-off, and it does say to me that a lot of the people that were there weren't real believers that this was a great project after all.
That's what DP was kind of getting into.
Is that an
there's a
omen?
balance on both sides.
Frogs is, I mean, what we're seeing there is going to happen to plenty of projects on Ordinals. It's the same thing that happened on Ethereum. There's just no substance in some of these things. They were early. They weren't first. They weren't anything like that. They were just very early. That's not enough. That doesn't matter when you got other stuff, when you got better opportunities for gains right now elsewhere, when you got other things that actually are building something maybe with a little more substance. I think it was easy to see this coming. They just, what is going to bring you to Frogs as somebody who isn't in right now? What are you buying that for? What is it you're getting out of it?
Well,
Community, I'm sure, is great. And I like them.
One of the first. That was very important. I thought.
Ione, not financial.
Well,
yeah.
Outside of Taproot Wizards and maybe Quantum Cats, what Ordinals project is anybody getting into because of the community
Pups.
inside of that project?
Pups.
Oh yeah. My bad. Yeah, because people do love pups.
And some nodes. I mean, node monkeys and Bitcoin puppets to me stand out as have deep culture. Well, I guess you got to talk about Taproot Wizards too. So okay, so Taproot Wizards, Quantum Cats, Node Monkeys, and Puppets seem to me to be the strongest communities with the most sort of organic interest, vibe, whatever culture is forming around them. Get the fuck out of here.
Drake, I don't know if people really care about
on you, bro.
100K. I'm not sure.
They made a real big point for fucking months yapping about that shit, Huda.
It's people who had nothing else to actually sell on, you know what I mean? Like
Ordinal Spaces was. Yeah. We were first. It was fucking. Yeah.
We know that doesn't matter. We know it doesn't. So sub 100K, I don't think
they really want to convince you otherwise.
Well, of course. Yeah, I mean, good for their bags.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, sub 100K does not really matter. Even sub 10K, I mean, maybe it does a little.
All right, XNFT saying OMB.
Yeah.
Squashman saying I missed the Ink and BAYC talk. Draco saying aren't there inscription numbers? So yeah, okay. Frogs is wrecked. Yeah. That's a crazy sell off. That is more than 60% sell off in a single fucking day.
English nailed it. So 4,700 holders in Frogs, right? So you got 2-to-1 basically there, but he nailed it. I think this was people chasing the new hot mint, and that's exactly what we have seen forever on Ethereum. So it's just, man, there's inked. Got to get it.
Mm-hmm.
Dump what you got that's got some value, and apparently Frogs were overvalued.
Yeah, but can I take some time? I saw we mentioned Frank earlier, and I always, anytime Frank is brought up, I always want to take the time to say that I respect the fuck out of the fact that he just will not fucking go away. Like he fucks shit up and he shows up on spaces giving hot takes and shit like nothing is going on. And he's been staying down for the come up. It's crazy. It's funny.
Yeah,
I respect it though.
I agree in that a lot of lesser people and a lot lesser people would have disappeared a long time ago and taken the bag and said, fuck it, I don't need all the stress of trying to work through how difficult this is. And he keeps showing up exactly like DP said. And I think, DeGods, Utes, all of them are one of those long-term bets. And you see that chart, and all of those OG ETH projects have the potential to do exactly that whenever the right catalysts come up. There's something to what Biggie's I think that Q does bring up an interesting question around is Ethereum the England and the old guard? I don't really buy into that, because I think that they have such a sophisticated dev team that's true OG builders that are they just executed the Denkun upgrades seamlessly. You have to understand, when they deploy these upgrades to the chain, it's literally changing out the engine while the plane's flying. And they've shown that they can now do these insane upgrades without any fucking disruption. Like these are top class fucking devs. And so you can argue like, oh, you know, they're taking a little bit too long, but dude, there's billions of dollars of value locked up in this fucking chain, and they understand that. So it's like, I would rather you take your time, do this shit right, and not just fuck up the whole network. So what's the point? The point is I don't really fall on the side of thinking that Ethereum's the England, because I think that there's so much happening there with the L2s that are all adding more value, with BlackRock deciding.
I don't know if the L2, we have to separate those two combos again. I don't know if the L2s necessarily are helping the NFTs on Ethereum. They're helping these.
Sure. So, but the reason why I think it matters is because all of these do eventually just make Ethereum have more longevity and sustainability. And with that longevity and sustainability provides more opportunities for the historical NFTs, the teams that are there to make comebacks, whatever. All I'm trying to say is that I do believe that at certain points, a lot of these OG collections like the Gods, Pudgy Penguins, BAYC, whatever the top ones are that are still doing shit, they're all going to have moments like this where they melt fucking faces because of what Biggie was saying. The culture is there. The OGs are there. People know it. It's the awareness. So many other chains and projects are just derived from these OG projects. And that provenance doesn't go away. It's just like, does it have the right catalyst and energy to flow back there? I'm a believer that at some point that shit does happen. I just don't know when.
Gif, I do agree, but that's then when we go back to that 10K edition collection, the size is going to make it very tricky for all those OGs to do that. And it's not like you said all of them will, but that 10K thing's a problem.
The higher supply ones, like, dude, that's why mutant apes are in such a tough situation. And BAYC more largely, and Gutter Cat Gang. All of these have a supply and demand issue where the supply is just way outstripped the demand. Mutant Apes is a 20K on itself. And then you've got fucking Kennel Club on top of it. And then you've got the heavy metals. And then you've got fucking G tags. Like, dude, there's so many other things in that one ecosystem. So yes, I
would separate
right
G
supply.
tags. G tags aren't part of that. They're part of Yuga. They're not part of BAYC.
Okay, that's fair. To me, when I'm looking at Yuga assets though, and I do kind of lump them all together, and I'm like, which is the best entry into the Yuga ecosystem? Like, I kind of do. But you're right. It's Bored Ape did separate out into its own sort of company now, so that's fair. But the point still remains that the supply is a big issue, like Huda said.
Biggie, last take here, and then I guess we'll have to round out the episode. You're wearing a Moonbirds hat. They got acquired by Yuga Labs.
Oh, wow.
It was a big piece of news a month ago, whenever it happened. Anything on the front lines from the community or anything like that? Just getting a follow-up.
Honestly, dude, I'd love to give you one, but I have purposely taken some distance, for some time. I do have a little, what do you call it? I have a recording of the latest meetup or whatever where they gave up some updates. To be honest, I have not listened to it. I have literally and it's still my fam. I love that community, but no update so far. We'll see.
It's getting weird up here, guys.
Yeah. It's time to go at this point.
Yeah,
let's rub our genitals.
Wait. Yeah, good job, this.
Second X.
Rub our genitals together, y'all.
Late in the show.
Create some heat.
All right. Huda host shows. Huda, have you stopped doing that show on Saturday yet? Or are you still doing it?
No, still doing it. I'm going to do it as long as Biggie and Henry want to do it. So
okay. Awesome. Well, they're going to be here tomorrow morning, 8 a.m. or not here, but on Inside NFTs on YouTube, also on X. But this is it. What's up?
I'll do it in my exit, actually.
You'll do your okay. All right.
Go ahead.
All right. Well, we're wrapping up the show. We're wrapping up the week. We had Say What, GM Web3, NFT Live, a whole another week of action. You survived the week in Web3. We need to make a T-shirt, maybe for the year. We can't do it weekly, or else I'd get it a little bit out of hand. But you did survive, so congratulations to you. Hopefully, we can have another good week next week on the content side, on the community side. You guys were awesome. DP, let's start it, man.
Yeah, man. Biggie has chosen
the bear in the suit.
Chosen violence against Ghostface, and he's fucking with me about it. And just so you know, Biggie, I'm gonna take that last response and I'm gonna put it in the Discord and see how the other guys feel about it.
Good poll. That'd be interesting.
But But nah, man, we appreciate you all for dropping through. Today has been a great discussion. It's been a great day. I hope you all enjoyed it. I hope you all learned something. If you didn't learn anything, I hope we at least provided some entertainment and some food for thought for you all. Continue to come back. We continue to provide culture, knowledge you can't seek in college, news you can't refuse, and all of the above. And then anything else, any other alpha we can come across, we're bringing it to you all here first, even at the risk of front running our own bags and our own selves. We do it for you. We do it for the community. So
every time,
continue to support, share it with your mom, share it with your dad, share it with your grandma, share it with your granddad, share it with your nephew, your uncle, your cousin, your aunt, toddlers in the family. Share it with everybody. And I'll see you all next week.
God
also,
damn.
share your mom, share your grandma, share your granddad.
Oh, damn.
I was gonna say hide your kids, hide your wife. But yeah.
Now bring them to the party. Bring them too.
Huda, I don't know how you follow this one up, but you good luck.
Oh no, I got this. Don't worry. So not only are we gonna have this Saturday morning show, right? But we also have our daily show, Inside NFTs, Monday through Friday, 4:30 p.m. Eastern time. The legend fucking Biggie Poppins will be there today. English, I think, is going to be there today too, and we're going to see these two go head to head. I can't fucking wait for that. Okay,
happening.
We're also taking some live calls today, so if you want to come on, if you want to talk shit, we want you there. We're going to do drugs live too.
Shit.
Come join us.
It's dope. Live calls,
live calls, live drugs, live crazy shit.
That
Yes.
sounds like
Yes.
a party.
all right.
What kind of drugs? That's
You got to tune in.
what,
to-
what,
gotta
what kind of
tune
drugs are we
All
talking
right,
about?
let's do Biggie Poppins next and have Gifted send us out. Biggie,
Dude.
good luck on your fight, by the way, too.
Man. OVOT fam, I'll see you next Monday or maybe later in Huda's space. Either way, nothing we preach here is gospel. We're just having friendly banter and intelligent discussions about the space. I hope you never take anything too personally, exception being Marty, of course. But we love you anyways. At some point, you'll come around. Anyways, love you and see you on Monday.
Blessed. All right, Gifted, send us out. Also, for you Chelsea haters, suck it. That's all I got to say, man. Come on, you Blues.
Yeah, look, despite that ugly jersey that Q's wearing, I appreciate these fine folks up here and all of you out there. Smash the like, subscribe. We'll be back next week. And our verber chirp.
OVOT family.
Good delivery here. Mata into a drop.